This is controversy in New Orleans around the Taylor Swift concerts held this weekend over homeless encampments being scuttled away from the Superdome by troopers in New Orleans, despite the city having a homeless population plan in place. Jordan Lippincott reports.
Those living inside tents at the Calliope Street underpass were forced to move Wednesday morning following a sweep by Troop NOLA.
I'm a move down there. I don't have nowhere to go. When you don't have nowhere to go, that tent is a big deal.
Troopers instructed people to pick up their belongings or else it would be done for them. Some were fortunate enough to have options.
I got a pastor that's helping me, a good one.
But according to New Orleans City Councilwoman Leslie Harris, those without options are being moved to an area behind the Superdome, where Taylor Swift's Eras tour makes its New Orleans debut Friday.
As you concentrate poverty or homelessness, we know that disputes break out. And so I'm really concerned about the people being concentrated into one area. And of course, this isn't the way that the city would want things to happen.
A spokesperson for Louisiana State Police said their intention is to create safe alternatives and reclaim public places, while noting that living on state property is illegal. But Harris says the sweep throws a wrench into the city's ongoing efforts, and it isn't the help the state thinks it is.
If they come with additional caseworkers and resources or even hotel vouchers to put people in for this Taylor Swift weekend, then I could see that as help, but this does no help at all. It just puts more pressure onto the caseworkers that we have.
Moving them is not the answer. What that's going to do, because at the end of the day, they're going to come right back.
Jordan Lippincott, WGNO News.
And covering the river parishes, activists and genealogists released a new report that locates the grave sites of 5 enslaved people buried at the former Winchester Buena Vista plantation in St. James Parish. It's also the proposed location for a Formosa Plastics complex that would become one of the largest plants of its kind in the world and a big provider of jobs in the area. The report was co-authored by the Louisiana Bucket Brigade and Inclusive Louisiana. The groups say the proposed plant is a threat to the environment in the parish and the people who live there. Governor Jeff Landry announced the state is suing the Federal Department of Homeland Security over a woman from China who illegally came into the country, who may have exposed hundreds of Louisiana inmates to a rare form of tuberculosis. Capitol reporter Shannon Hecht brings us details.
The governor says that there is no risk to the public as of right now, but they want to make sure that there is safety checks to make sure that any inmates that were exposed are medically cleared before they are released or transferred. After being brought to the state in July, the woman who was only suspected of having tuberculosis exposed hundreds of inmates and an unknown number of corrections employees. The woman is in isolation and receiving care.
This particular patient has a very resistant strain of tuberculosis. It is the only case in Louisiana.
The Attorney General's office filed a temporary restraining order to prevent exposed inmates from being released from the multiple facilities.
We demanded from ICE an assurance, a commitment not to release from these facilities any potentially infected detainees without medical clearance by the Department of Health. ICE refused on that call.
Abraham says inmates that are testing negative now could still be at risk of a later positive test. The hearing for the preliminary injunction will be in Lafayette next Thursday. In Baton Rouge, I'm Shannon Hecht.
The East Baton Rouge mayor's race is heating up. One candidate is demanding an ad be taken down or they'll sue. Also, a quick reminder of important dates for the upcoming November 5th election. Stay with us. We'll be right back.